Hello and welcome back to Industrial Buildcraft with Vilkata here on the Scarworld Season 2 server. So today we're going to finish up the two-part project that we started last week with the bamboo farm and super smelter. Now, as you can see behind me, the bamboo farm is done. But if you are a regular on this channel, you've already seen that. What you haven't seen is my plans for the super smelter. And so let me show you those right now. And ta-da! Yeah, there's that's my plan for the super smelter. is that clear? So yeah, so we're gonna try to do something a little different. I mean, we've all seen super smelters, and it's not gonna be the super smelteriest. I'm probably gonna go with just 64 furnaces, one stack at a time, because I want form as much as I want function, which I think the people who've been watching my channel understand that I like to do things that look cool. Even if it's not okay, looking at this is not the best example because this is wildly efficient. Well, anyway, it looks cool, which is the primary reason why I did that. But anyway, the same, I like to be a little flashy. I like to watch cool things happen. I like the mechanics of things, which is why we go out of the way and do the Whirly Swirly and all the arms and all the other stuff that we could just simply do in a room with a few chests, right? And some filters. So we're going to extend that philosophy to the smelter. So I've got a mental image of what I want to do. I have different pieces of it kind of tested out in a test world. But that's kind of how I do things, right? I don't typically build an entire thing in a test world. I just do proof of concept of different mechanisms. And then I just kind of throw caution in the wind and I go live on the server and I build it. And if it doesn't work, then I tear it down and I build it again. And I tear it down and I build it again. And eventually we get something out of it. So I'm going to get to kind of the basic layout of this. I'm trying to enhance this sign so it makes a little more sense. And get a few more materials put together and just kind of get started with it. Okay, so I got the general layout here. I think I've actually expanded it a little bit to give myself extra room for some rail shenanigans, I guess. So I don't know if this is going to work or if I'm going to have to tear it down and widen it more. We'll see. We'll see. But I wanted to bring you back so that you could kind of see the skeleton of what's going into it. Before I start, just before I go further. So we're going to use the traditional cart delivery for distributing the raw product. And in my test world, I did a 16 long chain, and I wanted to do, because I wanted to do 64 total, so that would have been 4 16s. Originally, the idea was to do 4 16s, but the more I thought about once I stepped back from the function of the smelter and started thinking about how's the form going to be, because I want it to look cool. Some things lend themselves to being a visual spectacle, and with furnaces you get the the lighting of the furnace themselves, and so I didn't want that to be lost in an internal running around mechanism where you just stood at a chest, dumped your stuff in, and then another chest filled up. I kind of wanted to see them. I want as much of the magic to be visible as possible. And part of that means I want to see all 64 furnaces lit up all at one time. And that kind of lent itself to this square design. And so that made some challenges in my original intent, which was the 416s. So I'm going to go with 232s instead. And of course, the other side over here will mirror this side. But I think, in my mind, it looks great. in my mind, it looks great. I think those are famous last words. So I've got this thing in my head, and so I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to come back and show you. I know we didn't just do a time lapse like normal. I do time lapses all the time, and I love my time lapses. But I kind of want to, I tried different things on different episodes, and this episode, I'm not saying I won't time lapse, but I kind of want to do an incremental, make some progress, talk about it, make some progress, talk about it, and kind of see how that plays out in the video, if the flow is good. And it gives me more versatility in this case where I don't know so much about the outcome of the final product to be able to build and tear down, and kind of adjust. Whereas I usually have a more solid idea of what the final thing's going to be like. And time lapses work much better when you do it all in one shot. So let's let me get back. Let me get back to trying to get this first half to a test state, and I'll bring you guys back on and kind of show you what the intent is. All right, so some design changes were necessary as I tried putting everything together, and that's I think I mentioned that you kind of get the different bits, and you kind of hope they all fit together. And they weren't completely fitting together. But I think I've accomplished all of my goals from a design standpoint. There's still a lot to do, but I think, so first of all, hopefully this doesn't feel claustrophobic. I want this to be visible, and so it's remaining low to make it more visible. So I needed room for these carts to load and unload properly, and I needed a block. So with the setup that I was doing, the block, there had to be something to keep the carts from coming through. This is the way it had to be. It just had to go this way to get what I wanted done. And that's fine. But what it meant was that I couldn't have the chest up here like I was originally going to. So if you remember in the last clip, we had a double chest down here, which was the return. You probably saw all these hoppers pointing in towards it. And it was the final products. And then the raw resources were going to go in up here. We were going to have to stand down here and reach all the way up to a chest that had blocks in front of it, obscuring it. It was just going to come out terrible. It was not going to look good. So I came up with this system here where I sunk it down. So let's load the cart into the system. And as you can see, it's sitting comfortably here under this gate. And now I don't have fuel in the system. That's a whole nother thing. We'll get to that. But if we... so the other cart is going to get... let's get this out. Oh boy. Alright, so he's going to go deliver the cart. We don't... Well, as you can see, that works. So it's going to start loading. As you can see, the delay goes and away it goes. There's less than 32 left. That means it picked up a full 32 set. There's one in each thing. It's going to come down, pick up the rest of them, and away it goes again. And so we should have exactly 2 in all things, and then the user will see the cart returning. So you'll be down here, and you'll watch it come along. Which is, again, it's the spectacle. I want things to be visible. So, when you build something, you gotta have vision in your head, and you start to put it together, and it starts to work out, but, sometimes it's got to evolve a little bit because something doesn't quite work the way you expected it to. You can usually adapt a build to still accomplish what you're trying to do. Well, so that's happened, and it's happened a couple of times. So first of all, we're not going with the original bamboo delivery system that I had wanted to do, but I made some decisions I came up with a creative difference, and I'm happy with the altered delivery system that I have in my head, and I haven't tested out. I'm just gonna build it. That's not why I'm recording this clip. Why I'm recording this clip is because part of the changes resulted in these extensions on the corners. So what happened is that because I have to make these towers, they extended 1 block off the map. And I know what you're saying, right? Well, who cares, right? Who cares? They're just on the map. If we look at the map, there will just be a partial line that disappears, and it won't even show up on the map. You won't be able to tell. But also, you can see this bamboo still here. I had decided to preserve this bamboo because it has the tridents in it. So, long story short, I sat on this for a day because I had to come to terms, come to grips with myself that I was going to compromise and allow this to break the mold and go over the edge. And I kept trying to justify it, and I can't. I gotta tear this whole thing down and rebuild it. And I was gonna do it quietly and not let you guys know that I did that. Just, one smooth thing, just, pretend like it hadn't moved. So, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna tear this whole thing down and move it like 2 or 3 blocks that way and 1 block that way. And I'm gonna do it in a time lapse. Super fast time lapse. Gotta rip the band-aid off. Let's get to it. Oh boy. All right. So, yeah, it's moved. No progress has been made. It's just moved and completely untested. And I have 5 extra smooth stone slabs. When you build something, there's always leftover parts, right? So, I think I got it right. So, I'm going to get to what I was supposed to do next, which was bringing in the bamboo. Alright, I got a little visitor. I try to record these little encounters here. And they don't always make, the final cut because I just don't, I'm usually strapped for time as it is. And even with the montaging them down, it's just, they don't make the cut. And maybe I'll make a a super cut episode. That is just my looting these guys. I haven't clicked on him yet, by the way. I was looking for an empty shulker. What's in this one? Stuff from making the what's a doozle? That thingy up there. As you can see, I'm in the middle of building my super smelter still. This clip may not happen between that part of the progress though. Maybe I'll stick it on the end of the episode. Who knows when it'll come out, if it'll make the cut at all. This is where I'll put the stuff. And ooh, beehive. Oh, gilded blackstone. Nice. Enchanting table. I don't even have one of those. Alright, I'm gonna make a list and try to do all this in like one hit. Alright, I think I ran around in a frenzy. I think I got all of it ready to go. Get this guy before he despawns. Beehive. My only gilded blackstone. Alright. Don't think there's a need to go through a recap of the inventory. Just saw me pick them all up. Alright. Back to working on the super smelter. Okay, so time for the initial test firing of the fueling system. I hope that I didn't miss anything. So there's been no testing, which seems to be the theme of this episode. In fact, I've tested nothing at all. I'm just hoping that my knowledge is correct, in the various things, and that I haven't misplaced a block somewhere. But we're gonna activate the ability for the system to request bamboo. So there it goes. And items away. Now, let's get up here. We should start to see them flow up through here. Now, I don't know how visible this is going to be. This could end up being just swapped out for clear glass. But, yeah, there comes the bamboo. Now, it's not a bubble vader, because if it's a bubble vader, it goes by so fast we can't see it, all right? And again, I might need to swap this out for clear glass. This is literally the first time that anything has come floating up this. But it's making it, right? It's making it there. And on this side, okay, so we know the water streams are fine. And they should be making their way down here. And then around. And so that enters going this direction, which can go all the way around. And likewise, I put glass over this because I would have jumped into it. Well, likewise, this one should be doing the same. And wrapping around. Very good. And that should be getting sucked up by the first hopper. Alright, which is almost full already. Mind you, that also means the furnace. I don't think that's... Yeah, okay, this is the furnace. Wait, no? Whoops. I have two supply lines pointing into that same furnace. Okay, well, I mean, it doesn't hurt anything. It's just unnecessary. Let's, yeah, I'll fix that in a minute. So that's good. So, well, I'm gonna let this run until these are all full. so that I can see the bamboo make the transition through the corner, realign itself to this inside, and then start crossing these. And then hopefully after that, assuming that works, it'll come up over this bridge and start. I knew when I fell out there I wouldn't make it back up. If it makes it over the bridge, fine. Hopefully it'll still be aligned to this wall. It's going to be kind of the final test. And then down to this last one here, which will be our control hopper that shuts the whole thing off. Water stream's thoroughly tested. Yeah, I mean, it took a little while to fill up, but not as long as it, could had. I did need to make one change, and this is, I assume, one of those weird Minecraft directional quirks, where the other three corners worked just fine, but in this one, the bamboo was getting caught on the glass, and it was just sitting right here. So there was two pieces of glass here, right? And then just normal swirl. And it just got stuck there. Just no, I don't know why. That's going north. Maybe that had something to do with it. But the other three were identical, and they made the corners just fine. And I had to go through different changes on this. I tried putting down the honey blocks here, and they just got stuck on them. And so I took out the glass, and I pushed back the water stream here, so it would hit the water stream. And it seems to function properly. And they make it over this bridge just fine, and they maintain their orientation when they fall back down and keep going. So that's fantastic. And all the other corners work just fine. This is the way the glass is, and all the other ones, they just go right on by, no problem. So it's working. There's a lot of building left to be done, but it's fueled, and I think it's going to be time to test it out. Let's give it a test. I got me a shulker here of netherrack, because we are going to be using a lot of nether brick in this district for the well, you'll see. So it's literally the reason I built a smelter. So over a stack went. That's good. That means they both took. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I figured that would happen. At least one of them. Oh, that's so cool. Check it out. See, this is what I wanted to see. That they run out, and it's so awesome. Love it. It worked perfectly. Oh, that's even better than I'd hoped for. And we get to see the carts on their return trip. Ah, this is excellent. Perfect. Man, I'm so happy with this. So happy with this. And product should be flowing in pretty fast. Yeah, nice. Nice. Man, this is great. This is perfect. See, you can see it moving. It makes the build organic. I don't know why these. So we're gonna figure out if. So if it's not making the loop, like say if those for some reason are staying not lit, then that could be because they are not pausing long enough to fill up. And it's a super easy fix. So if I keep seeing this, all I have to do, in fact, let's go ahead and do it right now. We just increase the tick a little bit. And we want to be careful about it because every tick there, every little delay we add slows down the entire process. But we knew that that was, something that was gonna. That's the testing, right? That's perfectly fine. We have a mechanism in place for fixing it. So the delay on the light should be just a little bit longer. Yeah, see that? But that's fine. Perfectly fine. It's such a cool effect. I love it. But, all right. A wonderful, successful test. We could stand here all day and watch this, but uh, there's so much more building to do. I've got to put a roof on it. I've got to build the towers. There's a ton of building to go. There are windows here so we can watch the bamboo go if we want to stand on the outside. But that's it. So we know the fueling system's perfectly working. The requester's working. The carts are working. It's alright, man. It's already done. That was a whole shulker. Wow, awesome. Well, that was a weird and sudden cut, wasn't it? I Yeah, I've already edited the previous piece, and I don't know what I cut off because it really comes out weird. But okay, we're gonna go with it. So we're done. We're done. This is done. It's complete, and it's awesome. I went with a castle-y motif. When I had to do those corners for the water transitions, they automatically had to be towers. And once they became towers, it became a castle. Or more of a keep. And what it is it's a forge. And because it's a forge, it's all fire and brimstone. And I wanted that's why there's all the lava and the fire and there are anvils back there and I didn't ruin it up. There was always the possibility of putting like cracked stone in here, but I wanted it to be majestic and maintained because it's a forge. It's a functioning thing. Stone masons and iron masons and whatnot are working here, and so they maintain their building. It's big and majestic. And so I didn't go with it. I was going to put vines on it, and that just didn't. I wanted it to be pristine and maintained. I wanted it to look like it's an active thing that the people who use it are proud of it, and I'm proud of it, and I'm a person who uses it. So it is that. In the interior you've already seen. Just some little touch-ups to it, but otherwise I maintained it, and I'm excited about it. I put some slabs here to cover up the blue from the ice. It was distracting. It didn't fit the color palette. And I like it. I like the little breakup with the slabs here. It actually even if it wasn't hiding something, I think it would go well. So I did that on both sides. I left this area open because I don't want things obscuring the view of watching the spectacle of the furnaces. So I left this area that's kind of open, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it. I'm excited about it, and that's it. It's done. So I want to thank everybody for coming back to see the second part of the two-part project, the bamboo and the super smelter together. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions about the functionality of it or any of the decisions I made, or just would like to tell me how cool it is, because buddy, it is cool. Leave me a comment. If you like it, leave a like. If you guys are Scarians and you're on this server, this furnace is open for business. You don't need to bring any supplies other than the raw material. The farm will fill it up, and just come and go. Just be mindful that this whole area isn't completely mob-proofed. So when you're here, be careful. But feel free to come here and smelt to your heart's content and enjoy.